If you have not already watched the video that was last uploaded of me actually trimming or dusting my ends, then I will make sure that that video is linked down in the description box below. Go ahead and pause this video now and go check out that video so that you can see the whole process and so that you're caught up and you kind of know what's going on in this video. Okay, bye. Back to your regular scheduled program.
And I feel so much better. My hair feels so much better. And you know, it just is, it's a fact of life. Your hair is going to split, especially if you are wearing it curly. And y'all know I have like this 4C section up in the top. So I had a lot of single strand knots that I had to cut off of that particular section. And y'all, I can't even explain to you how my hair feels. There's no set time of you have to trim your hair once a month, or you have to trim your hair bi-monthly, or this many times a year. In my opinion, that doesn't exist. I think it's different for every person's hair because everybody has different types of hair. If you have more of the 3 family of hair, then as far as the curl pattern goes, you're not going to have to trim as often because your hair is most likely not going to split as easily. You don't have to do as much working through your hair, and your hair is not tangling back on itself. If you have more of the 4 family of hair, I personally think that it needs trimming more, and that's just from me observing the 3 type sections of my hair versus the 4 type sections of my own head. So once again, I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be. I'm not a professional. I'm just letting you know what I know from my observations of my own hair. So as far as how to know when to trim your hair, there are some warning signs that you need to look for. If you see split ends with your eyes, first of all, ends are going to split. When they first start splitting, you can't see it. When you can see the split ends, it's time for a trim. When you freshly brush your hair like this, and then you run your fingers through your hair, you can feel the ends of your hair. If it's soft, if it's the same texture from the roots down through the ends, you're good to go. That's how mine feels now that I've trimmed, and I'm so excited about that. But if you can feel like a roughness, or it feels like it's super, super thick on the ends, they're split. It's time to cut. Also, heat damage can make it feel like that. Another thing is with my hair, I would brush it, and then by the time I put my shirt on, get ready to get out of the house to go, or even just doing things around the house, by the time I'm ready to go, it's back matted up on the ends. What in the world? It's time to trim. So for me personally, I felt the roughness. I noticed that my hair was tangling too easily, and then I also physically saw the split ends and the fairy knots with my eyes. All right, so now that you know when to trim, tips for how to trim. Number 1, if you have a difficult cut, take your time. Take your time. Number 2, if you have a specific cut, make sure that as you are trimming, you are keeping the shape of the cut the same. So what do I mean by that? If I part off, because see now it's more even because I just changed the angle from where I was holding it. So make sure you are not changing the lines of your cut if you have a particular cut. Now, if you don't have a particular cut, like I did my first go around with the big chop, I big chopped myself. I was not trying to maintain a particular shape. So what? I mean, you can just trim away. No one's going to notice. It's not that big of a deal. Number 3. Tip number 3, use small sections. If you are doing, first of all, put your hair into 4 quadrants. Then once you part off a section of one of those quadrants, this is a long section. Split it. Split it. This is your first time trimming your hair, split it. Use these small, you know, 1/2 inch by 1 inch sections all the way over your head. You ain't got nothing but time, but after you mess it up, time won't go backwards. So take your time the first time. Use very, very small sections of hair. Tip number 4, keep the parts that you've trimmed separate from the parts that you have not trimmed. So I like to section my hair into quadrants, and I used lots of clips. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 clips, and I was using all 4 of these at any given time throughout the process. Keep your hair clipped and separated. You do not want to go back over. Well, first of all, even if you picked up the same section twice, you should be able to notice if you trimmed it already or not, if you're paying close attention to the process. Because we're not worried about trimming a particular, well, I wasn't worried about trimming a particular length so much as just dusting the split ends off. Tip number 5, if you are going for length retention, dust your ends. Stop cutting it all off, sis. It don't all have to be one length. Your hair don't all have to be one length. Ain't nobody gonna notice that but you and your stylist. As your hair grows, as you retain length, as you dust your ends and you're only taking off the unhealthy hair, your hair is going to naturally be different lengths throughout. And if you big chop, like my big chop, my mini big chop has been a bob cut. So it's gonna look pretty much one length all the way around as it grows. But if you big chopped to a teeny weeny afro, that means you cut your hair the same length all the way around. My hair looks the same length on the bottom, but it's not all the same length. If I take a lock of the front of my hair, this hair is like 10 to 12 inches long. If I take a lock off the back of my hair, this hair is only like 4 inches long. So, you know, just embrace your hair how it grows for length retention. And this is just for length retention. Now, if you are concerned about a particular styling, cut it in that styling. Keep it symmetrical. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not dissing that. I'm simply saying if your goal is length retention and you're focused on styling and symmetry, it's hard to get them both. It takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of consistency amongst you and a professional to retain length and symmetry. It's just a whole lot. Pick one, symmetry or length. Okay. Let's see, what other tips can I give y'all? I think that's it, y'all. I think that's it for the tips that I have. I will say this was extremely difficult, but I had fun. I enjoyed it. You guys, relaxing and taking my time and doing things to my own hair that makes it healthier and makes it look nicer. It's just super, it's like therapeutic for me. So once you make up in your mind that you're ready to go on that length retention journey and you really want to see results, it's going to bring you joy. It's going to bring you peace within when you care for your hair. I promise you that. So here are my results, you guys. And I know it's not bone straight. I know it's not silked out or whatever. You feel me? That wasn't the goal. That is it, you guys. That's it. That's all I trimmed. To give a reference point, here is my comb. Give you a